And then I crush it, tell my girl why I'm so bold. Until she trusts it. I'm like the world inside a snow globe. Rap for the memories. Painted murals on the
So I get a text message from one of the 8th graders' friends, right? It's a little boy, goes to school with the kids. They've been friends for about 2 years. He's been to the house. Nice kid, right? And all of the kids that are in the 8th grade, they're all going to the 9th grade. And I keep telling them, get yourself together over the summer, right? This is your summer to sort of change and fulfill your life and go into high school, which will follow you, especially in this tiny neighborhood. It'll follow you. So whatever you're doing in high school, we all know that's how people remember you. You get out in the world, you come back for the reunion, they run into you in the streets. Oh, you were the guy that did X, Y, and Z. Anyway, I digress. He texts me and says, hey, my bicycle chain broke. I'm down the street or around the corner from your house. It's actually a friend of mine's. It's all tied up in the cogs. We can't get it loosened. We need to get this bike chain fixed so we can get moving. And so I'm like, all right, I'm not even close to where you're at right now. I can't help you out. And so I get to thinking, why did he call me? And where am I on the list of resources that you called? Did you call your 18-year-old brother first? Did you call your father? Have you checked in with your mom? Were there any other neighbors? This kid whose bike it is, did we call his parents? During the conversation, he basically says, hey, I heard you know how to fix bikes. You fixed one of our other friends' bikes. Can you help us out? And unfortunately, I couldn't. But, I got to thinking, why are you calling me? Right? This is her friend who she's not with right now. She's doing something else. He's independent. You're just calling me. I'm an adult. And you feel like I'm a resource. Now, I feel like I'm wealthy if I have money for pizza. If the kids come home and hey, we want some snacks, can we get a pizza? If I have pizza money on demand, I'm doing well. I'm rich. That's my level of rich, right? I pay the mortgage. I pay, what bills I have. But that extra, right? That disposable income, I feel like I'm rich. Now, the kids come to the house all the time. It's a house full of 6th grade kids and 8th grade kids. They're all over there socializing. It happens a lot. And you start to think, why is this house the community place, right? It has some things to do with it's comfortable. Some things to do with it's the right size. Is it accessible? Are the parents the factors, right? Are there snacks, right? And if they're all those things, I have to figure those things out, right? As the parent, you have to figure out before the children come to the house and look at you as a resource, before they're comfortable with you, how am I going to make this happen? Because it's a bonus to mine, right? If they're safe at the house, if their friends feel safe at the house, then they're there. The relationship opens up, the communication opens up. But how do you accomplish this, I guess is what I'm getting at. And so there's always got to be a bunch of snacks, whatever the snacks are. Vicky likes healthy, so carrots and berries. I tend towards like ice cream and pie, but there's some sort of snack there. If it's sleepover weekend, there's going to be some sort of pizza or spaghetti dinner or whatever it is. But those things are things that the kids like and that they enjoy. I don't know where every kid comes from. I don't know what those houses are like, really, right? I don't live in those homes, but I know some of the kids are wayward, right? Some of the kids, they don't have it the same way. Single parent, right? They don't have huge disposable income. The reason why we're in that neighborhood is not the same reason why other people are in that neighborhood. Some people, it's the bottom or the median of their income range. Some people, it's at the top. So there are kids there whose parents have disposable income and children there whose parents are just making it. They're happy to be in that school district. Now, I'm not going to go around and figure out which kid's which and, Are you the poor kid or the rich kid? My job is to figure out, are you the good kid? Right? Are you a child that belongs here? And if you're a little wayward, what can I offer you to kind of get you back on track? If you're doing well, what can I offer you to keep you on track? And how that works is beyond just having snacks at the house, beyond having extra bicycles or video games or things like that. It's, are you talking to your children's friends? Are you having real conversations with them? Are you engaging the friends of these kids? Right? Because at that point, that's how the child feels connected. That's how the child feels valuable and worthy. These are the friends. And when you surround your children with friends that feel valuable and connected and worthy, your child doesn't have a choice but to feel valuable and connected and worthy. And the compliments don't hurt when, your kid's friend says, oh my God, I wish you were, my dad, or, it must be great living in this house. That's a compliment to me, but it makes the kid feel good, right? Who wants to go to the house with a parent that sucks? So I thought, oh, wow, I get this phone call from this kid. And yeah, of course, I don't want to fix your bike. I'm tired. But there is flattery in that, right? I feel like, okay, I have accomplished some things that I set out to do, to be able to connect with the kids, my kids, to be able to connect with their friends, to be able to see what the milieu is, right? What's the basic ideology of this friend group? Is it a bunch of assholes? Or is it a bunch of cool kids? Is it a bunch of kids that are making age-appropriate mistakes? Are you making 14-year-old mistakes when you're 14? That's fine. I don't want you making 21-year-old mistakes when you're 12. That's not a good look, right? One of the friend group's kids' mom said she came home one day and it looked like they had a 12-year-old frat party, right? A bunch of soda cans everywhere, and her kids passed out on the couch and all sorts of things. 12-year-old appropriate behavior. Luckily for me, the community that I'm in is very supportive of the kids with the children's sports and the community interaction. And they have like a youth center Saturday night activities and all the parents participate. That's lucky for me. But if you're not in that environment, you have to then create that environment. If you're not in a neighborhood where the whole community comes together and think, oh, this is great, then you have to create that environment for your children. But if you don't create that environment for your child and it doesn't exist, then you run the risk of giving your kids to the streets. You run the risk of them participating with children that you don't know, children that don't share the same basic level of value of life. Children that are wayward, like the 14-year-old, this is when you start to be interested in boys and, hey, dating, and your dating consists of, well, we texted or we watched a movie or whatever the situation is. But she knows, she finds it funny and intrusive at this point, but she knows if it's a serious, what they think is serious, if it's a serious relationship, that boy has to show up to the house at some point. He has to come here and he has to make basically a production. I'm going to ask certain questions. And then she goes down the list. What are your grades? What sports do you play? Are you good in school? Well, that's what they call expectation. Now you have an expectation for who to bring home, what type of behavior to tolerate, because you know the types of things that I'm going to tolerate. So eventually there's going to be a boy that doesn't fit the bill. Well, you can't come to my house. When you have all Fs, you have no job. And as we grow, right, you got a bunch of baby mamas, you don't pay for your kid. You're irresponsible. I can't bring you home because there's an expectation. And everybody in the group has to proceed with that expectation. And then what you have is an elevated group. All the kids that were hanging out at your house are now held to the same standard. At one point, one of the friend groups, this guy's getting a bunch of D's and F's. I said, listen, man, it's cool if you come over here and watch the movies and hang out and eat the food and do all those things. It's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But you can't come over like this. You have to be doing some work to earn the privilege to hang out here. I said, so listen, you're getting a bunch of D's and F's. The next time you come here, you need to bring your homework, or I need to check your grades. They got to at least be on some C's, right? You got to at least be moving up. So the guy comes over 2 days later, knocks on the door. Hey, is the kids here? I said, yeah, man. Where's your backpack? He said, well, it's Sunday. Yeah, where's your backpack? I told you the next time you come over here, you're going to need to have your homework if you're not up to par. So he had ridden his bike, man, about 2 miles to get to the house. I said, listen, I'll make you a deal. I'll drive you home to get the backpack, bring you back over. We can all hang out. It turned into a Sunday study day, which kind of fun. A bunch of the kids got their homework out and they all did their thing. But it also kind of sucks. But that's the standard. And now what happens is all the kids in the school, that permeates the school. That's the standard, right? And what we get from that is, yeah, it may be hard, but you start to see how all the kids involved start to level up. And they do that because that's the standard that was set at the house. Fun and do some work. And what I got from that was that holding these kids to a standard, holding them up and, celebrating them when they need to be celebrated, supporting them when they need support, and checking them when they need to get checked. They respond to that. And just because they're not mine and just because they're not related to me or they don't live in the same house, that doesn't have anything to do with holding up the standard. And that's what I got from this kid calling me asking, hey, can you help me fix my bike? Seems simple enough, but you have to read into it. It's a result of years of having this kid over, holding him to a standard. He knows it. He was there that Sunday with his backpack doing a bunch of homework, right? And they're all like that. I look forward to the summer. It's shred summer, so all the 9th grade kids are trying to get in shape so they can impress the high school kids, which will not happen anyway, but they're ready. So with that, just think about how you can set up a situation that will support your children, because once they get to middle school, high school, you're not necessarily the direct support network that you once were. That support network is definitely the friends. And if you can't sort of behind the scenes set up and celebrate the friendships, you're setting yourself up for potentially having a problem with your kids' development. So think about it, find value, know the parents of the children that are associated with your kids as best you can, understand what's going on in that family, and support the children where they need to be supported, all of them, yeah. Anyway. And then once more, you don't even have to worry about the kids that are sort of, they're not going to step up to the level. They'll weed themselves out. They will not show up after having been told you owe some homework, you need to do, certain things, X, Y, and Z. They'll weed themselves out. They just won't be around anymore. The ones that stay are the ones that are passively saying, I appreciate, I respect, and I can uphold whatever standard it is that we have going on in this household. In this household, that's how it's going to be, right? And we have to associate and we have to interact with the kids. And you don't got to be the cool parent, right? They're not drinking at my house. That's out. That's not my definition of responsibility as a parent. Well, I'd rather them drink here than somewhere. No. So they are held to a standard, like I say, a disciplinary standard and everything else. So take care of them all, and they'll take care of yours. And that's just a basic thing. Till next time, have a good day. Live your life.